Welcome to the Tales of Drunken Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Mountain, and in this podcast I will be regaling you with the various tales of drunken stupors, bad decisions, and nights long lost only to be retold by friends the very next day. I've had the idea for this podcast for quite some time. This is the first episode of what I hope to be many, and I hope to kick it off with a bang. Enjoy the story, and without any more delay, let's dive on in. Alright, so I figured a good story to start off with would be my 21st birthday, which ended up actually being in Los Angeles, good old LA. I was interning there during my summer of my sophomore transition into my junior year, so I guess rising junior year of college. And I was out there for an internship and for a study abroad program with the school I was going to. And the interesting thing about that is that I kept a journal entry for every day I was out there. So I have a journal that I did keep track of, and I wrote an entry for every day I was out there. That includes the night I went out on my 21st birthday, and I got pretty drunk. I will be reading that after I tell the story because it basically is the drunk retelling of what happened. But first, I'll tell it how I remember it sober, and then I will read from that entry. So to start off with the story, the day went off. I think it was, I can't remember if it was a Friday or Saturday of that year, but I know it was on a weekend. Anyway, I lounged around the apartment, and I went out to the store and made my first purchase of beers, and I say beers in quote. I bought fucking Smirnoff Ice, because, my palate wasn't expansive. I was just like, you know what, those taste good. I'll take those. So thankfully my palate has diversity, and I can't even remember the last time I had a Smirnoff Ice. But I digress. Anyway, so the whole funny thing about getting ready to go out was I was sitting there just drinking the beers, and we were also trying to figure out, I had 3 roommates with me, living with me in LA. 2 of them were over 21. I just turned 21, and my third roommate was not 21 yet. He was the only one. And, that's a tough thing to try and figure out. It's like, well, crap, where can we go when we want to go out for the night in downtown LA? He's going to get carded. So we actually were looking around at a bunch of different restaurants and stuff, and we found one that allowed people under 21 in. It was a Irish pub that allowed people who were under 21 in until after, I think it was 9 o'clock. After 9 o'clock, they didn't let people underage anymore come in. So we actually called them. I remember calling them and got on with the manager, and getting on with the manager, I explained the situation. I was like, hey, it's my 21st birthday. We only have one guy that we're trying to go and celebrate, and he's not 21. Can he come into the bar? And the manager was like, yeah, just give us your names. We'll get your IDs, and he'll come in. As long as he doesn't drink, you're fine. So we got that squared away. But that was also it also was kind of a blessing because since he wasn't 21, he was our designated driver, which I told him he didn't have to do, but he's like, no, it's my birthday present to you. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So they're all getting ready. I drank all the Smirnoff Ices. I drank all 6 before going out because I was like, well, screw it. I want to drink all of them. So I drank all of them. We headed out, went to the Irish pub. The Irish pub was pretty cool. We got food. We got a pitcher of Guinness, and I had 2 pints. I think we each had 2 pints except for my roommate who was under 21. So we all had a round of pints. We got food to eat. It was pretty good. And then we're like, okay, where are we heading after this? Because, of course, we weren't just going to go to a restaurant, a bar, and not go anywhere else, like a club. So we found a burlesque type bar that was only about a mile or so away. So we go back to the car. My buddy drives, my roommate drives us over there. So we arrive, he drops us off. Me and my now 2 other roommates walk up, and I will never forget this. This is so great. Was I walk up, and they have like a little red carpet out and the ropes and everything going into this like burlesque bar or club or whatever you want to call it. And we walk in, and I walk up, and there's this big, huge bouncer. I'm talking big, like he's at probably like 2 to 3 times my size. And he looks at me, just like scowling at me. I hand him my ID. He picks up my ID, looks at it, looks at me, like gives me a nod of approval and says, "Get your ass in there." And I was like, all right. So I knew it was going to be a good night when that happened. So I get in there, and it's pretty cool. It was like very, very antique vibe, I'll say, I guess. It had a back smoking room and all this crazy stuff. But so first thing I do is I get in and I go up and I order my go-to, which is a rum and coke. So I get a rum and coke. My buddies get something. They got a live band playing. I hang out with my 2 roommates. We're talking everything, walking around, just taking a look at the place because it's really cool. And then so I'm down and I go get another one. Basically throughout the whole night, I have 3 rum and cokes while we're there. I think towards the end of my second one is when I'm walking around having a good time. They got a live band playing, so I'm hitting the dance floor every now and then, but I come back to find my roommates just chilling. And I think it's about midnight. They walk up to me because I'm on the dance floor, tap me on the shoulder, and they're like, "Hey, Mitch, we're actually gonna head out." And I was like, cool. I didn't go with them. I was just like, I'm gonna keep doing me because I was feeling myself. And so they head out. They call my other roommate. They call him. He comes by, picks them up, and goes back to the apartment. Leaves me there. And he texts me when he gets back to the apartment. So he gets back to the apartment with them, texts me and says, "Whenever you're ready, just text me." I mean, he was a true, like, you want to talk about a wingman or designator, like a true brother to have. That was him. He like looked out for me. So I was probably there for another 2 hours by myself. And at this point I go up and get another rum and coke, and I start hitting the dance floor, and I start hitting the dance floor hard. They have the burlesque dancers come out. They start dancing on the bar, and like, it was insane. I was just kind of like mesmerized because it's like there was this whole like fiasco and show throughout the whole thing, and it was really, really cool. So the band comes back on. I go back to dancing, and then this girl comes up to me, like, and she'd been cute. Like I'd, of course, like, been eyeing her here and there, but nothing like creepy or anything. Just like, oh, she's cute, and then kind of see her. So she comes up to me. She taps me on the shoulder and is like, "Hey, I got this beer, but I don't think I can finish it." And when I say she got a beer, she got a tall boy, like a tall glass. That thing was huge. And she's like, "I don't think I can finish this." I was like, "All right, I'll help you out." So she starts sharing her drink with me. We start talking a little bit, and then she starts kind of dance. I start to kind of dance, and it's really fun. It's okay. I'm not getting touchy-feely or I'm not getting like handsy or anything on her. I'm just enjoying the music, enjoying dancing around. Am I looking to get laid? Not really, but I was open to anything at that point. Of course I was. So we're having a good time, basically. She's giving me eyes, she's smiling, she's laughing, blah, 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 blah. Then this other girl comes up. And I'd also seen her around the bar too. And she comes up, and the way she walks up, I can tell that the 2 girls are friends. I'm like, okay, it's her friend. She comes up, giving me this eye that is like a stink eye like no other. Like, she wanted to end my life. Like, I'm not kidding you. Demon of an eye she gave me. So she comes up, giving me the eye, and I'm not grinding on the girl, but we're pretty close. It's pretty intimate. And her friend comes up to me, puts her hand to my chest, and pushes with all her might me out of the way. Like not a push, like back off. Like it was a get the fuck away. I was like, damn. So I backed up and I was like, damn, okay. And then she turns and basically becomes like a wall between her and the friend. And it was at that point, like, I was open to anything, but it was at that point, that was where, like, she killed my vibe like no other. Like, I was at that point, I'm like, all right, screw it, I'm going home. So I literally, like, after she does that, I turn around, grab my phone, text my buddy, and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to be picked up. So I go to the front door and I'm just kind of chilling, listening to the band. Within about, I'd say 5 to 8 minutes, my buddy texts me. He's like, here, across the street. So now this is how he describes it, because apparently our stories on how this happened differs. I thought, in my retrospective, I walked out like a normal human being and approached the car. Apparently to him, that's not what happened. So this is what he told me what happened that night. So he's standing out there by the car across the street. He sees my head come out the door like a cartoon, like my head just pops out. That's the only thing that pops out is my head. And I look both directions before stepping out. I step out. I see him in his car. And he's in a full, like, tux. He's in a suit, like my butler. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I see him. I walk over to the crosswalk. Now I have to wait when I get to the crosswalk. Apparently, when I was waiting at the crosswalk, I was bobbing up and down, bopping to a tune. Like I was sitting there bopping on my knees, popping up on my toes a little bit, like just bouncing. The light changes, gives me the go ahead, and I skip across the crosswalk. I don't remember skipping, but apparently that's what he said I did, is I skipped across the crosswalk up to his car. And I remember asking him what the fuck was he wearing. Like, I was just so shocked he was wearing a damn suit at 2 in the goddamn morning to come pick me up. I'm like, what are you wearing? And he does not answer the question. Without answering the question, he opens the door and says, Mr. Mountain, your ride. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? So I get in the car. He gets in the driver's seat, starts driving. And apparently, I just start ranting. I rant about what happened to me, about getting cock blocked by that girl. I was just like, that's all he told me. He's like, dude, on the way home, all you did was rant about this girl. And I'm like, damn, then she really did me dirty. She must have really done me dirty then. So we get back to the apartment. Now here's the funny thing. I did not notice this at all. I didn't even know this was a thing. So we get back to the apartment. I just go back to my room. So how our apartment was set up is you walk in, you have the living room, and then it splits off into 2 directions. On the right side is a bedroom, and on the left side, both are bedrooms. On the right side was the 2 older roommates, the 2 who were over 21. They slept in the same room. And on the left side was me and my buddy, my roommate, who was under 21. So, like, it's in the same room. The beds are separated, but in the same room, kind of like a hotel style. And I go back there, get into bed, write the journal entry, and pass out. What I didn't notice was apparently my roommate had thought I would probably get lucky. So he had actually taken sheets, put them on the couch in the living room, and set up like he was ready to sleep there that night. I mean, he told me that, and I was like, no, you didn't. I didn't see sheets on that couch. He's like, yes, he did. And then my other roommates came out and told me, yeah, he did. Like, they really thought I was going to get some that night. And I was just like, that just kills me, man. Like how much more of a wingman can you get? Like, what? It just blows my freaking mind. So yeah, that is apparently how that night went down. That is it. So like I said, I wrote a journal entry that night, and you'll have to forgive me if I stumble through this because my handwriting is atrocious. I'll go ahead and read. This is exactly, literally, I got home, got in bed, pulled out the journal, and started writing, and this is what I wrote drunk after my 21st. So I said, I am completely drunk. Tonight was one to remember. My roommates were badass and claiming the night with me. I got some writing done for the book. I wrote about 4 to 5 pages, which is good progress. I also made my first liquor purchase by getting some Smirnoff Ice. That stuff is always good. I drank almost a whole case by myself, and then me and the boys headed out for the night. We went to an Irish pub first. Our waitress was pretty hot, but not too chatty. I drank 2 glasses of Guinness and 8 bangers of mash. We then headed to Harvard and Stone, a bar that has burlesque dancing. They played good music, and the shows were entertaining. I ordered 3 rum and cokes. They were strong and messed me up good. My roommates left around midnight, but I decided to stay. I didn't have plans to bring a girl home, but that didn't stop me from dancing. I. What does that even say? I worked. How's that even an R? I worked my way around the bar trying to dance with different girls, but they weren't having it. So apparently I have no moves. One girl even gave me the eye and shared her drink with me. It was a home run. So yeah, I guess at that point I thought I was going to score. I was in. We started dancing together and I was making a move until her friend came along and forcibly pushed me out the way. It may be the alcohol talking, but that girl was cutting hard. Jesus Christ. Oh, did I actually write that? Oh my God. Jesus. Alright. Like major cock block. After that happened, I hit my boy, who comes in clutch and picked me up from the bar. Sorry about the messy handwriting, but I went all out tonight. I had a good time, and even though I didn't score, I enjoyed hanging with my friends. So there you go. That was my 21st birthday in LA. Crazy story. Great. It's a story. I can give you the description of this story. It was a story of a guy thinking he was going to score and didn't. So, a typical night for me. I hope you enjoyed that tale, and remember to tune in for more. I'll be posting an episode every Saturday. If you yourself have a drunken adventure you'd like shared out into the world, send them over to todarequests@gmail.com. That's TODA requests@gmail.com. Show support for the podcast by telling your friends about it and getting as many ears listening as we can. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep your drinks cold and the party going.